All right, we are here, and I'm excited for this conversation and to keep things moving forward and to open up to all the things that are here. We are here, and I'm excited for this conversation and there's two of me right now, in case you can hear the other me. But I want to get this conversation started with the space of understanding that what is it that you're putting first in your life, especially guys. So many things are often first in our lives, and they're nowhere near moving us where we want to go. And that's what I want us to get really going in this conversation, so that we can all keep it moving and getting this thing started, so that we're all elevating together. So that's what we're going to be talking about. What are you putting first in your life, and how are things coming together in your life and our lives as we talk in the group. And let's get this party started. We'll see you soon. Peace.
When I am asked to speak, I embrace the calling. It is my responsibility to make sure to leave everyone inspired to elevate in all aspects of life. In the 26 states and 10 countries, it has been my energy that is infectious and magical. The impact elevates everyone to new heights. It's time to conquer our challenges. Relationships across the board, communication gaps, fear of the unknown, limited beliefs, and all that holds us hostage in life. The path to power is peace, and peace is the power to live by. The unique perspective that I bring to the table inspires all. Professionals, executives, students, coaches, and athletes to reach their highest potential. That is why I, Sid McNary, am known as the secret weapon. Whether it is tackling mental health issues, success in business, or winning at life, every moment counts. Get ready to receive the tools to win. It's time to win at everything. Let's connect today. Peace.
Hello, my name is Miles. Discover a powerful journey of resilience, purpose, and spiritual growth in the autobiography of a human by Sid McNary. In this compelling autobiography, McNary shares the personal challenges and triumphs that shaped his path to success while offering insight for professionals seeking deeper meaning and balance in their own lives. Drawing from his experiences growing up Catholic, participating in indigenous vision quests, and studying the Buddhist path, he reveals how diverse spiritual traditions ultimately guide us toward the same destination: connection with the Creator and our highest selves. Through practices such as meditation, yoga, and spirit medicine, McNary demonstrates how life's victories and hardships can become opportunities for growth, self-discovery, and lasting peace. The autobiography of a human is more than a memoir. It is an inspiring reflection for professionals striving to align purpose, personal development, and inner clarity. Available now on Amazon, this transformative story invites readers to reflect, grow, and step confidently onto their own path of self-discovery and peace.
All right, we're here, excited for this conversation and to really look at it. And I just want to pause for a moment before I bring the guys up. If you don't know Keith Mitchell, I'm not sure exactly what happened, but he's a yogi, played for the New Orleans Saints for years, and he's passed, and it was looks to be a homicide. And so just want to take a moment and give my regards to his family, as I got to know them, helping him publish his book and things like that. And so yeah, just another good one gone too soon. All right, let's get the guys up. What's up, bud? And Tony, glad you made it. How you guys doing?
How's it going, gentlemen?
Tony. Tony. It feels good. All right.
What's up, brother? Good to see you.
Great to see y'all. What's going on? What's cracking?
It's Wednesday. Men's Circle was this morning. I'm here to tell you, I love going. And after 5 weeks of 6 a.m. to start Wednesdays, in 5 more weeks, I'll be ready for it to be the next chapter. 'Cause it's 6 a.m. No matter how I paint it, like I'm up at that time. I'm up at 4, but leaving the house at 5:30 is different than going on my meditation cushion. So it's definitely a commitment. It's definitely a commitment.
It is that.
Yeah, but it's here's something. This is what we talked about today. We talked about humility and how humility gives way. Like you almost can't be arrogant and say you're following God, right? Like there's humility in following God, because no matter what you do, you're acknowledging that something else did it for you. And so that dug in, and then it went to what it would be like to be obedient to your journey if you were someone like Jesus. And Jesus comes and he's in this body, but yet would have known that he was much bigger than this body. So then, and I've experienced that when my mentor told me, he's like, Sid, you keep trying to be free. You're confined. You're in this body. No matter what, there's limitations to this body. Go jump off a building. You'll know there's limits, right? Like you'll know there's limits. And so that part of it, just being able to be obedient to something bigger. And then I heard this was something they said that was amazing. Self-ambition ask, what can I do? Or what's in it for me? God ambition says, I don't want to misquote this. God ambition says that, give me 1 second, pulling it up. Okay, here it goes. Selfish ambition asks, how can this advance me? Godly ambition asks, how can this advance the kingdom of God? And I never looked at it like that, but I love it, because it's like, okay, how can I be here to serve my purpose that moves the kingdom forward, right? Which is everything. Everything is the kingdom. Everything that we do, everything that we move forward. And so it kind of opens into this conversation of what is first in your life. So either one, you can go for it. Answer. What's first in your life? And then I'll come back in.
I'll say this. I like what that said, but if we can even make that even a little simpler so that it applies to everyone, regardless of what their belief is, it may be, how can my ambition help move humanity? Because ultimately it's the same thing, just using different words, kingdom or humanity, because is what you're doing, what your ambition is just something that's selfish and only for you, or is it going to help mankind and help others move forward, which in my vision, my opinion, is moving the kingdom forward, as you said, except breaking it down a little bit differently. So, because there's so many people that, the stigma behind one thing or another, which again, I don't really care, but again, just to appeal for that broader audience. And I think that that's just an easier way to say it. So, I like to say that oftentimes I say that the purpose of life is to be happy, right? To be joyful. And I say that because if I'm in that place, that means that those around me aren't suffering, right? Because if someone around me is suffering, then I'm not really in a good place. And I do what I can to help where I can. Again, we're all fallible and we're all far from perfect. Yet, I'd like to believe that most of the moves that I make, most of the decisions I take, are not selfish and are thinking of others. I'd like to believe that that's what I do. Of course, we all have those moments and we all have those thoughts, and sometimes what we want to do and how it turns out are different. Yet ultimately, I think that, again, I've said it before, and I think that one of the purposes of my life is to leave the world and everyone I meet a little better than I found them, right? So I think that in itself moves in the direction that you're saying. So I love the conversation, love the topic. Let's see where it goes.
All right, Doc.
Nice. Yeah, this is a great question because I'll be open here. I don't want to like this vulnerable word. I hear it too much. I just like to be open. I like to keep things simple. I think right now it's a ping pong for me. I guess for me, what's first in my life, it's a tug of war between purpose and personal growth versus family and relationships over hustle. When I was younger and I had hair, it was all career, 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 career. And then a number of years ago, it flipped and it's family and relationships. And I'm sure there are people on this screen, and Sid and I have maybe had some offline conversations about this, is that I'm in a part of my journey now where taking care of my parents and making sure things are good with family is what I'm working first on, in combination with my own personal, space. But more and more, and I'm encountering more and more men who are saying, yeah, I got to take care of my parents, this and that. And for many of us, we don't go to school for it. Just like getting into relationships or marriage, it's something we don't get into, get an education on. And for a number of men, it's challenging because if you're in a relationship, you got that going on. If you have family, you got that going on. You got this going on with your parents. And then, and where do you get time to take care of self? So for me, it's those two mantras that are first. That's what I'm working on right now. Those two things. And when those two things are going good, man, I'm a dangerous cat.
I love it. I'd love it. And I'll pick it up. But I will say that at this point in my life, what's first in my life is God. And time, we're on time together. God first. And what I'll say with that is that's removing all the obstacles for me from God, for me to be with God, whether it's like, who am I to think that anything that I do, anything wasn't God? Like that to me, that's the limiting mind space of me as a human in the past, which then says, okay, so then everything's designed perfect and everything is perfect. And for me to think that it's not perfect is actually playing God when God designed it. God designed everything that comes up in my life, no matter what I think of it. And that's something that shows up for me. Like, putting God first says, remove all thoughts of it being anything less than perfection. That's one thing. And as we open this into, all right, so what does that really look like for whatever it is that you put first? And I would say on the pecking order is God, myself, family, community, so on and so forth from there, right? Like, which ultimately takes it to the world. But no matter what, I have to look at God inside. Like, God is in me, God is in everything. Therefore, when I look at that, it's like, I've got to take care of the temple, this temple right here that's housing God. And I look at that and I say, okay, when it comes from me, this isn't everyone. I'm not trying to get you to do like me, because this has been a journey I don't wish on many people. But when I look at it, it's like, okay, what am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I thinking? All of that? If I'm putting God first, then I'm doing the best I can at all of that. That looks like 20 years of sobriety, of alcohol free, just so that I can tap in and say, all right, do I want to spend a single moment not driving with God? They say don't drink beer and drive. So when I first really realized it for myself, it was like, all right, well, why would I drive my life and drink a beer? That really came true for me. So I just look at that in that way of, all right, God's first for me, and how does that look? But that's what I got to say right now.
I just, if I have, I know Tony will want to jump in, just want to, and Sid, as you were sharing, I got clarity. I agree with you in regards to that, because for those who are believers, the most important relationship is God first. And then everything goes from there. So definitely, I forgot, I said it's not a tug of war. It's one way, and that flows from everything. It's just like a river that flows out to the sea. Get that stream right for those who are there, or those who want to get there, and it will flow wonderfully into the ocean for you, from my experience.
Yeah, I like what Time just said as well. You become the best version of you, and everything will fall into place. And and I agree with what you said, Sid, because I do believe that we all have a little bit of God within all of us, and it does start with us, right? And this is a temple, so to speak, that we live in, that we were gifted. And I think how you show up in the world and how you treat um, everyone else that also has a little bit of God in them says a lot about, and it's a reflection on you and what you believe in, what your values and principles are. How are you showing up in the world? Are you one that's helping, or are you one that's hurting? Are you one that's part of the solution or part of the problem? Are you one that's giving, or just always taking, contributing, or just, again, being the person that's always the taker? And I think that the way you move through life has as much to do with your faith and what you believe in, more than what you say and with what you do. So I think that by honoring yourself, your body, your temple, honoring those around you is a way of honoring the divine.
Love it. I love it. And welcome, Chris. And
hey, what's up, gentlemen? Sorry I'm late. I was have a crazy morning with my dog in the vet, but I've been listening to you guys as I've been driving home, and love the conversation as always. And
awesome.
Beautiful to see you, gentlemen.
Right on, right on. And I will say that, what comes up for me in this moment, and I think that I'm just going to let this conversation move from as we talk, what comes up next. And what's next for me is this, Tony, you said we all have a little bit of God. And how that lands for me is, it's all, each and every one of us is nothing but God. I mean, you can't have the God that is everything and take something from it. The God that created everything, the God that embodies everything, the God that is, like, in my mind, every time I go to meditate, it's creator, mother and father of all, infinite source, beyond space, time, and form, all that was, is, and will be, prime source, great mystery, great spirit, everlasting creator, holiest of spirits, God, I'm calling to you. And so that, for me, it's everything. God is me. And I know this is different, than we've gotten this. And I think one of the greatest things the devil can do is to help us to believe that we are separate from God. But yet in the book that most people that I know, 2.9 billion people on earth read the Bible, supposedly. That's a debate because of the way that we're operating on the world. But anyway, with that being said, Jesus said, you will do all things I've done and more. So what makes us think that God isn't residing inside? And most of the time, like we were talking about that in the men's circle today, and I'm just like, all right, if we believe that, then how are we not expecting ourselves to be like him, to experience in a bigger way? That's human arrogance to say that, one, I believe in the Bible, but I don't believe that part. Like, that doesn't make any sense. That's human arrogance. God is inside, and it's okay for us to start to say, okay, why is the world like it is? Because I'm in it.
I like that.
So what then happens when we actually all accept the power that resides within? Do we still live in a world where 1% control 99% of the money? Do we still live in a world where people are homeless? Do we still live in a world where people are pedophiles are still running around? Do we still live in a world on and on and on and on and on with all this devilish stuff? And I'm calling it that because it's, even though it's great, like all of it. Why is it great? Because it's teaching us to be different. But now that we know that there is something different, why are we still allowing it to be if we have that level of power in each of us? And it starts with our thoughts and guarding our thoughts, because John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. And so knowing that, then I have to guard my thoughts, because in the beginning, what starts everything is a thought in my head, because I can only see the world through my eyes, and every thought that I have, it's like move your hand. You got to think about it. Move your hand and don't think about it. I'd love someone to prove me wrong on that you can do something and not think about it. But you have to, because in the beginning is the Word. So then if I guard my thoughts and I guard my words, then what has to come forward is different.
You know, along those lines, Sid, and thanks, guys. I've been listening to the conversation and love what you guys are talking about. When I saw that the conversation was talk about what you put first in your life, I gave that a lot of thought and really like, okay, how can I capture this in a simple form, but actually expand it out? And I thought, what do I put first in my life? I thought, okay, I put me first in my life as far as my mental health and my physical health, like I said, you were talking. But then I thought, okay, how do I narrow that down even further? And I think, okay, I teach a concept that's love over fear. So we have to look at, am I operating from a lens of love, or am I operating from a lens of fear, first and foremost? So if I'm operating from a lens of love, then the love for myself, the love for the people around me, the love for community starts to bend back some of that stuff that you're talking about, Sid, as far as the bad things and the bad people in the world. Because I found that when I lived through a lens of fear, which was really scarcity, my actions and my attitudes towards other people weren't always as positive as they are now. And so I've found with seeing it through the simplicity of love versus fear, that when I operate from a place of love, loving myself, accepting myself, forgiving myself, pouring into myself first, which is not selfish, then I find that the ripple effect, you know, when we cast a stone in a pond, that ripple effect, I find that helps make the world just that little bit much better, that much better. And so that's the thing I teach people is like, start to take care of yourself and love yourself, and then love the people in your, even if you disagree with them. And that's one of the ways that we can really reshape the world. But if people are still operating from that lens of fear, lens of distrust, lens of dividedness, then nothing really gets solved and it just gets worse.
Sid, do I have permission to ask all of us a question?
Absolutely.
So I want all of us to do some quick reflection. When you look at your last 30 days, what got the most of your time? And does that match what you say you put first?
Well, I'll go first, because it's easy for me to map out the last 30 days. What I can say for sure is to start every day is 2 hours of meditation, which is my devotion to God. Like I sit there, go through the whole meditation. Well, I start with praying, which lasts about 5 minutes. I pray, and then I go to the Lord's Prayer to start the day. I just got to this place that feels like, well, give us this day our daily bread, right? Like, so I don't know what else is going to happen, but I'm putting that thought into the world that, okay, I can come home and eat and all those things. Forgive us our trespasses, all the things about the Lord's Prayer. But what I've done with that is, you know, I could say that prayer in probably, I don't know, 30 seconds. Yet I'd taken the time to go deeper with it. So it's like hour, and then I breathe. Then I go back, our Father, and I breathe. Then I go, our Father who, and I breathe. And I keep going all the way through. And I'm with breath, because in between, I want to breathe that in and connect to spirit. And then so that's the beginning of my day. Now, it just so happens that I'm just overly, in a great way, committed to it being about God. And so, which then has taken me back into the yoga room. And in my opinion, you're not teaching yoga if you're not taking people to God. You're teaching something else, and it's something different than what I want to teach. But so that becomes my job is about getting people to God. Everything about my day, everything. I talked to Liz about it. If we put something on our television, it's going to be about, all right, what's taking me deeper to God? So yeah, I really do. And I try to, as best I can, 18 hours to God, as best I can. If I can get 24, that means I'm sleeping thinking about God, which the last couple of days I've woke up thinking about God. So maybe I am when I'm asleep too. But I really genuinely, humbly say, yeah. And I just want to do everything that I can to bring this world to a better place before I leave, which says that's God's work. And so then it looks like not even thinking about what I'm doing next. Show me where you want me to go. Who do you want me to serve? I didn't expect this lady to come into a room today and tell me about her American Indian husband and them having a problem and this, that, and the other. And then I'm like, all right, here's my phone number. Reach out. She already texted me. So we can get on a phone call and I can talk to him, and not because I need to sell him anything or anything. Just, all right, God, you introduced him in my life. So here I am. What do you need me to do? So that's just how I'm moving, and continue, which reshaped my whole movie, because I had to go back and say, all right, where's God in here? So evaluating it all to do that, just how it shows up for me. Thank you for listening to that, Grant. All right, Tony, Chris, Dr. Vibe, it's your turn.
Well, I figured I already talked, but that's a great question, Dr. Vibe.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think about in terms of life of being congruent, like being congruent with my thoughts and my actions. Is this matching this, which is matching this? And I'd have to go back to say, yeah, it's about love. The last 30 days have been intentionally more about enjoying the moment, being present. We went on vacation together as a family, and it's important for me because in the old version of Chris back in the go days and the fear days and the scarcity days, I wasn't present in the moment. I was constantly always in the future, trying to predict what it is I was going to do to be successful, or I was in the past trying to play Monday morning quarterback and figure out what I could do differently. So I was never really present. So for me, again, going back to that central core thing is like, am I being present in the moment? And is that coming? Because if you're living in a space of fear, then you can't be present in the moment. But if you're living in a space of love and saying, okay, what is my intention? And that's why I always recommend to people, like, depending on your practice, some people aren't spiritual into the Bible and stuff like that. But when they wake up in the morning and sit there and say, decide to make a connection to source, universe, or make a connection to themselves, the thing they can do first is saying what they're grateful for. But you can't be in a state of fear if you're talking about what you're grateful for. And then the second thing you do is you set your intention. My intention today is to be present and playful with my son. My intention today is to use my words and my actions to make this world a better place. And so you kind of set the table, if you will, for what it is that you're going to be doing. And if you're going to be doing things that are going to be involving some challenges or difficulties, then you play that out in your mind. You play that movie out in your mind, and you play it from a place of love. And you sit there and say, okay, either way the situation goes, I'm going to choose it as see it as an opportunity for me to grow. Even if it's contradictory to what I want or what I think I deserve, I'm going to see these situations unfold as a possibility for me to grow. And ever since I've shifted that in my life, I was still successful. I was very successful before. I had a corporate career, all sorts of things, but I wasn't really connected to myself or connected to God, source, universe, however you want to look at it. And so for me, it's about that congruency and that intentionality of being present in the moment and really living that legacy. Ultimately, for me, it's like, okay, if I pass away tomorrow, did the things I do today really make a difference? And will people miss that or be inspired by that? So that's the answer to my question, or your question. Great one.
Well, I guess I'll jump in and say, again, I think gratitude is a very big part of life, and we should all start our day that way, and just to be grateful and stop asking for things and be more grateful for what you already have before it's gone. Because oftentimes people, their prayers involve just asking for more. And we need to start being grateful more for what we already have. I think that, in my opinion, family comes first because taking care of your family and taking care of the people that that were that you're blessed to have in your life, right? That were a gift. It's all part of it. I think it's not disconnected. Putting God first and putting family first is one and the same, in my opinion. Because again, as you said, we all have God in all of us. I think that, again, my goal is to always do the best I can to help wherever I can, and not and to cause the least amount of pain and damage possible wherever I step. That said, we all make mistakes. None of us are perfect. So I think that it is about leaving this world and everyone you meet a little bit better than you found them. I think that at times we're supposed to help, and at times we're supposed to step away and let nature take its course, right? Without getting into a whole nother leg of the conversation. Sometimes you need to let things be, work out the way they should, because oftentimes we get involved in things to help someone, and yet at times, I think we spoke about this last week, we help people too soon and they didn't learn the lesson they were supposed to learn, so they're just going to pay, they're just going to suffer through that again and again, and expect someone to bail them out instead of taking care of things themselves, because they've learned the lesson. If you never learn how to fix it, then you're never going to know how to fix it if somebody's always fixing things for you. And I just, because I did look it up, what you said before, if God is all around us, then how is it that some people have more than others and less and everything else? And I came across a Bible verse when I looked it up in theologians, and it says, "For even when we were with you, we would give you this command: if anyone is not willing to work, let him not eat. For we hear that some among you walk in idleness. Now such persons we command and encourage in the Lord Jesus Christ to do their work quietly and to earn their own living." And I know it's not part of the question, but it does speak a bit to what you said, the question that you asked before Dr. Vide put that question out. And I think the best thing that we could all do is provide for our family, provide for ourselves. And when we have abundance, we help others, even when we don't have abundance. But we got to remember that we must take care of our families first, because that's our responsibility first and foremost, right? Is to take care of the gifts that were given to us, take care of this body that was given to us. Because if you don't take care of yourself and you don't take care of your family, what is the point?
Exactly.
Right. The purpose of life is to, in my opinion, again, as I said, is to as the Boy Scouts would say, leave it better than you found it. Right. And again, to leave the world and everyone I meet a little better than I found them, that means raising good humans. That means being good to people. Right. So I think that family first, and really taking care of your family first, and then helping others as much as you can, and teach your kids to help others and to contribute and do that as well. Yet oftentimes we find ourselves doing too much and not letting people kind of fend for themselves and learn the lessons they've got to learn.
All right, Doc.
Well
Before I jump on this next part of the thought in my head, I want to give you space, so I didn't want to jump in too quick.
For me, definitely the last 30 days, and it's been longer than 30 days, the taking care of myself has been front bumper. As I like to say with people, I like to tell people, I don't just manage your time, manage your energy. So I'm intentionally making sure I manage my energy, because that energy comes through God. And the thing is, if I can't manage my own energy, I'm going to be a train wreck for myself and anyone else who I come in contact with. So I'm intentional about it, and I don't let anyone shake my peace as much as possible. And when I feel that time someone's trying to shake my peace, I move. Whether it's mentally, physically, emotionally, I move. That it's time to move away, whether it's physically or mentally, but definitely intentionally about taking care of my peace first.
Hey, Dr. Vide, can I jump in on that?
Absolutely, please.
I love that. My podcast last night was talking about non-negotiables. Sorry, I have a cat on my lap. Talking about non-negotiables, and I was breaking it down between physical health, mental health, and relationships. And I was giving people ideas of where they could draw non-negotiables in their life that can actually really advance them personally and professionally. And that was one of them, was having that non-negotiable that I will not allow toxic people to invade my space. And not to say that, somebody that doesn't have a problem, of course, we're going to help them. But we all know those people or have had those people in our life. They're like, oh, Dr. Vibe, geez, my job just sucks and my relationship's stuck. Oh, yeah. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. I'm going to do something. And then you talk to them next time. They're like, oh, my relationship's up. And you're like, okay, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again. So having that non-negotiable to sit there and say, you know what? I care enough about myself that I'm going to protect my energy and protect my love. I'll be there for somebody. And perhaps I need to have a tough conversation with them. But also at the same time, not allowing yourself to be a part of that emotional vampires, those energy vampires that can come around us. So I love what you said. I wanted to capitalize on that for people listening, because it really, when you put that non-negotiable in there and you really examine the things that we tolerate in our life. I have my coaching clients do that exercise, and they find that they tolerate a lot more than they should. And then once they start eliminating those tolerations, their self-love, their joy, their abundance, their ability to serve their family just exponentially increases. So capitalize on that.
If I can just jump in and just put a cherry on top of that as well, is, one thing that I often say, and people talk about, oh, that's selfish, being selfish. Well, self-care isn't selfish.
Yep.
Self-care is essential. Not practicing self-care is actually selfish. Sounds counterintuitive, but think about that. If you're not at your best self, if you're not taking care of yourself, you're taking care of your health, if you're not sleeping, I know that I have a hard time sleeping. So when I sleep less than 5 hours, I am not that good for myself, to people around me, to God, to do whatever it is. I'm firing on like 3 cylinders, never mind 4, 6, or 8. So practicing self-care is essential, because if you're not showing up, if you don't have the energy, and if you're not feeling well, if you can't show up as your best self, you're showing up as a lighter, dimmed down, dumbed down version of yourself. So it really is about practicing self-care. And practicing self-care is, in a way, honoring God as well, because again, you're honoring the vessel. You're taking care of you so that you can show up as your best self to do the best work you can at whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're sweeping floors or whether you're cleaning arteries in somebody's heart, whatever that might be. Just to be the best, you have to show up as the best you can be. So practicing self-care is essential. Walking away from toxic situations, toxic people, leaving toxic relationships, not tolerating so much bullshit in your life. And oftentimes we tolerate mediocrity, tolerate shit in our own lives from ourselves, right? And that's a conversation that I have with myself often. It's like, what the hell am I tolerating? Why am I tolerating this? From myself.
Right.
I'm not going to tolerate it from other people. Why should I tolerate it from myself? So practice self-care is absolutely essential. It is not selfish. Take care of you, because if you're not here, because if you don't take care of you, you won't be here to take care of all the people and the things that you find important. You're not going to be here to practice and do all the things you say you want to do, the people you want to help. So if indeed you're being honest with yourself and you say that that's what you want to do, and you're not practicing self-care, you're lying to yourself.
Exactly, Tony. One thing I want to capitalize on.
Hold on. I want to run it back to this idea of family. And 99% of everybody on earth is exactly the same. Bleed the same DNA, 99%. And if we go back, if you believe there was a beginning, like if they didn't just sprinkle a ton of humans at once, if humans evolved from something, there was a first human. If humans were created by God, there was a first human. And then when you go out from there, everybody's family. Everybody's family. And so when I look at putting God first, as soon as I think that anything is other than God first, I've actually separated from God first. So if I think that my family's first, I've actually disoriented my brain away from God first, because it is God. Like that's just me. I'm just sharing this. Y'all can say whatever you want. But that's really where I am. Like it's not making logical sense in my brain anymore to say my kids, my parents, my whatever. Like, and I know that was tough for my children, raising them when they thought oh, wait a minute, my dad takes care of everybody like he does us. What? It literally was tough for them to look up and think, does my dad love us when he's loving everybody the same? Like that was just tough in my journey raising my children. And fortunately, the oldest is like, actually, dad loved us more than we could have ever imagined. That's God to me. God, we can't even imagine how much God loves us because he lets us do the bullshit that we're doing right now. And then still loves us. Like really, like, so when I look at it, for me, it's something more than what I can imagine when I'm putting God first. It's more than what I think. It's more than what I even imagine myself doing. I have to let go and just be selfless. So when that person walks in that actually might talk about the same thing over and over and over again, then it's on me to look at, well, why? Why is that happening in here that I am still reflecting the same thing over and over and over again? And so when I shift in here, that person shifts because likely either I got more compassionate, I got more authentic in some way, and I'm able to sit there and say, hey, I understand you have a problem. And here's the problem that you've actually said to me maybe more than once. And so now what? And now sometimes those people that truly are in it, they just go and find somebody else to play with because they're like, they want to keep saying that. But when I've said that to people, like, I'm here to help you move forward. If they don't want to move, they walk away, and that's okay. But I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I'm just letting it go. So I'm going to pause there.
No, that's a great point. And the thing I was going to go back to for people is a visual, the way I've learned how to say it about that self-love and that self-care. And it's so important. Tony goes, oh, I don't want to be selfish. I'm like, okay, let me ask you, like, who do you love most in your life? Most of the time it's their kid. Okay. So what's your kid? His name's Doug. Okay. How old is Doug? He's 9. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you love Doug? 10 being absolute that you would take a bullet for Doug. A 10. I love him with all my heart. I love him more than life itself. Okay. Okay. Same question for you. How much do you love yourself? How much do you take care of yourself? And that's where the disparity starts coming, like probably a 4 or 5, a 6. I'm like, okay, can you imagine that what you're keeping from Doug by not being the best version of yourself, by not taking that time to go to the gym or that time to fill your own bucket first? Like, how much different would how much different person of you would Doug get if you were that whole complete person and feeling love and feeling that sense of joy? And that every single time, you guys can use it yourself. Every single time people go, oh, I didn't look at it that way. I just thought I was giving him a 10. I'm like, no, you're giving him a 6. Thinking you're giving them a 10, but you're not. And that's then people start to shift and it's not see it as selfishness. They see it as self-love and self-care. But you go back to the conditioning process when we're kids, we're taught to think about everybody else and don't be selfish and don't be stingy and that kind of stuff. And that stuff kind of sticks in our brain a little bit. But when I tell people that really shifts it for them.
Yeah. If I can just jump on that as well is, one of the things that I've taken to saying, and I've been guilty of this, is, we're always so busy and we're always, we say yes to too many things, and we've only got so many yeses to give throughout the day because there's only so many hours in the day. And the more yeses we give to things that don't matter, the more no's we have to give to things that do. Mm-hmm. Right. That means if you're saying yes for something else, for a customer, a client, a friend, whatever, and now you're out of time, now you're missing your son's baseball game. Now you're missing that family time. Now you're missing this or whatever. And like I said, I've been guilty of this. And at times I still am. And so what winds up happening is you're giving everyone else the best of you and you're giving the family the rest of you. So you're not giving them a 10.
Love that.
Right? And the other thing, so you're not really giving them a 10. You're giving them a 10 of what's left, but you're giving them 100% of what's left. But if there's only 2% left, how much are you really giving them? Like I said, I'm guilty. Mm-hmm. And something that I learned, that I heard, this is a while ago, and this kind of plays into what you were just saying, Chris. And the question is, what would you do for your family? I'd do anything. Would you die for them? Absolutely. I would die for them. Not the question, though.
I love what you brought that.
Yeah, the question is, will you live for them?
There you go.
Will you take care of yourself for them?
Mm-hmm.
Just like, just like, I think there's a beautiful line that I heard once before where, it's what you're willing to do for your spouse. And the line was, I'll take care of if you promise to take care of yourself for me, I promise to take care of myself for you. Right? Because we got to take care of each other. Because going back to what I said before, self-care is not selfish. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're being a selfish prick. Because you're showing up as a dumbed down version of you. And at some point, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not sleeping enough. You're not eating right, but you're taking care of everyone else. And then you burn out. And one of two things is going to happen. A, you're going to start to resent the fact that you think that you're doing for everyone else and no one's doing for you. Of course, chances are you probably didn't accept the help when the help was coming. Or you just dropped freaking dead because you weren't taking care of yourself. So now what good are you for anyone? What good was it you working 18, 20 hours a day when you probably already have enough? Or maybe you don't, and that's okay. And there's times that we have to be in survival mode. There's times of struggle. And there's also time of enjoyment, time of relaxing, times of peace. Because it's not just go, 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 because you're going to go, 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 go. There's a great video out of a man chasing the money to the point that, he finally gets the money and he dies. What the hell's the point? You got to enjoy life along the way. And again, and that's something that I think of often. And I have to recalibrate myself on a regular basis because oftentimes I am giving the best of me to everyone else and giving the rest of me to the things that really matter. Self-care is not selfish. So will you live for the people that you love and for the mission that you have and for God? Will you live? Great. You'll die.
I'm glad you brought that back because when I heard it from Chris, would you die for? At first, knee-jerk reaction says yes, and then I said no, 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 because I just, why are they in that situation in the first place? Like, no, I can't even imagine that I would ever even be there, that I need to die for them when it's like, all right, I've taught you how to live. Like I really have. I've taught my children, stop. Like my son told me the other day that because he did Uber as a side hustle. And he told me about having the gun pulled on it. And I'm like, all right, man. So now that you're in my house, there's no reason for us to go there. I don't want to have to die for him. I don't want to have to go kill the person that killed him. I just don't. So let's stop that. Like stop putting ourselves in the situation that says I've got to die for you. Like, no, stop sending our kids to war for needless things. Oil, needless. I don't care how you paint it. We have electric cars now. Oil, needless. Stop. We're doing these things like we're cavemen and we don't know how to think it out. We now, like as a caveman, you might have to go run in front of the dinosaur. I don't know how it worked out back then, but now we can make different choices on the way. Like we're smart enough. We're human enough that we now should be able to see the repercussion of our actions. So stop doing the things that says I got to die for you when we can all live well. That's just,
again, will you live? Yeah. Will you live for me? And not to turn political, but we don't have to send our young men and women to die overseas for oil. We got plenty of oil right here. Let everybody else deal with their own shit. And that's what we need. Kind of going back to what that verse that I quoted before. Let everybody fend for themselves. We help when we can, but we have to stop doing for people. That's the biggest challenge that we have. And and since I'm there, I'm gonna read another one that was really good. But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, especially for members of the household, he has denied the faith and is worse than the unbeliever. Go to the ant, O sluggard, consider the way. Well, no, that's not the one I wanted to read. Slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes you rich. So, it's not about blaming those who have succeeded and done well. Yes, are there bad people that have made a lot of money on the backs of others? Yes, but there's a vast amount of people that didn't do that. but because they were diligent, they got up and they did the work. They got up at 5:30 in the morning, or 6 o'clock, or 6:30, or whatever time, and went to put in the time to provide for their family, to provide for their community. Those are the people that we need to celebrate, not vilify.
Well, I mean, yes, and maybe not. It says in the book, those that are given much, much is expected. So if you have billions of dollars and you can't spend that, you're going to go to death with a lot of money. You can't spend it. So with the billions in your bank account, why aren't they? Those that are given much, they're likely, if you believe in the book, then there's going to be a problem. That's going to be something to answer. I don't even know. It's not that big a deal to me. You do what you do. But I know that for me, in my heart, where I am in this moment, give me $1 billion. I got to go take care of a lot of people.
And we should help those that are unable to work, but we should not help those that are unwilling to work.
Well, then why would Jesus go to the cross and say, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do"? So then why aren't we able to live?
Here's the thing. I'm not Jesus. And
yeah,
I'm
but you're supposed to be like him.
You
read the book, you're supposed to be like
those that are unable to help themselves, but I'm not willing to help those that are unwilling to help themselves.
So then, therefore, don't say I put God first.
Listen, brother, I get it, but there's always going to be, unfortunately in this world, in today's world, there's more takers than there are givers. There's
Why
more
is that?
Because we're not getting, again, unless this is going to get political, we probably shouldn't go down that road.
No,
but I think
I'm not even saying political, because
listen, you go to Yosemite National Park as an example, and there's a sign that'll say, "Don't feed the bears," because or any wildlife, because if you feed the wildlife, they get used to being fed and they will no longer fend for themselves. And when you're not here to provide for them, they'll die or they'll get sick, whatever else. And
that's not the only reason you don't feed wildlife. You don't feed wildlife because they will attack you when they know that you are the food.
Yep.
Well, this is true, but the other reason, that you're feeding pigeons, they're going to think they're going to be fed. As an example, they're not going to kill you. A bear will kill you, but a raccoon won't. Neither will a squirrel. But my point is, when you provide,
I think the coons get you though. I'm just letting you know, we got some crazy coons in Florida, so don't go feeding these either.
No, but my point is that the same thing applies to humans. When you make life too easy and you give them everything, somebody did an unscientific study, and you may have heard me share this before. Said, and the man just decided one day that he was going to go. He took the bus to work every day, and he decided that every Wednesday he'd go and he'd give some guy standing on the platform $10. And he decided, he was like, "What?" The guy's like, "What is this for?" No, I don't need it. No, please, let's just take it. And he did this week after week. And after doing this for like 8 or 9 times, one day he showed up and he didn't give the guy the $10. You know what happened? The guy's like, "Yeah, where's my $10?"
Yeah, I've had that experience. But then there's also these kids that are fed everything, that are rich, spoiled brats. So just as you say that, there's the opposite that happens too. But then as they become rich, spoiled brats, they still go on and work. So I wouldn't say that that's a 100. There's nothing that's always there's things that we're correct, but I don't say that
not everybody fits in the same box.
What's that?
Not everybody fits in the same box 100%.
Right. So I don't think it's okay for us to say these boxes and as if they're going to be black and white, because they're not.
Well, this one is. If you're not.
Tony, hold on.
Let me just say this.
Tony, you can go find somebody that was on welfare or whatever that has turned their life into an amazing space. All right, here's one for sure. Warwick Dunn. His mom died. He had to take care of all his kids. They were on food stamps. They were on everything. And now he's done more than any of us on this, in the 100%. Sense that he has built out,
brother,
over 120 houses for single moms.
This. I'm all for a hand up. I'm all for a hand up, not a handout. Now, if you're unwilling to work and there's work available and you're unwilling to do it, not unable, unwilling to do it, or if the work you're doing just can't cover the bills because you got a whole lot, you've got your kids, you got your family to take care of, and you're just not making enough and you need support, that's fine. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about, there's plenty of people that are able-bodied and just absolutely, and work is available, they're absolutely unwilling to work. That's the people that I do not want to help. And if that makes me further away from God, then, you know, I guess I'll take it up with him later.
Well, help can come in many different ways.
I want to jump in because I know Chris needs to leave at the top of the hour. So I just wanted to know if, you know, we're coming to the end, and I just want to see if he has any last thoughts before he has to do something that's first on his list. His son. One of the things on his first list, his son.
No, I just and thank you for that, Dr. Vibe. I appreciate it. I'm looking up at that clock, and that clock is actually 5 minutes slow. So I'm like, oh shit. So thank you for saying that.
No problem.
Yeah, you know, it just goes back to, for everybody watching and listening, it really is about what are one or two things that you could take from this conversation, depending on who you understand or agree with, or just take those couple of things and start to implement them. Don't think about them like, oh, maybe I should do this. Just start to do a couple of things. Like what are a couple of things that you can do to take care of yourself? What are a couple of things that you can do to perhaps remove some tolerations in your life? What are a couple of things that you could start to instill as non-negotiables, and really just start to emanate outward that lens of love? And I promise you, I've seen so many people go from being successful but disconnected to being successful and connected, and it's a pretty beautiful thing. I'm Christopher Rausch, and yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Hey,
always
Chris.
fun. Yeah, I want to go have lunch
Chris,
with my
Chris.
son. He's doing a weekly camp, and so they say, yeah, parents come into the cafeteria, and so
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Awesome. Good.
But
to
I
see
love you, brothers.
Take care, my brother. Take care.
You too. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, appreciate it. Tony, give us your 30 seconds. Go for it.
You know, what I encourage people to take just a couple of takeaways, something that you can maybe reflect on is number one is practicing gratitude, being grateful for what you have. Just stop asking for more, being grateful for what you have every day. Grateful for your eyes, your ears, your mouth, your heart that beats 107,000 times a day without you thinking, your lungs that breathe without you thinking about it. You don't have to think, hey, I got to move my hand. Hey, I got to wiggle my fingers. It just happens. Be grateful that you have all those faculties a lot of people don't have. So start your day with gratitude. Be great to end your day with gratitude as well. Give you better sleep as well. The other thing is to practice self-care and understand that self-care isn't selfish. It's essential, so that you can show up as the best version of you, so you can take care and provide for and do the things that you say you care about and that you're here to do. And then the other thing is, stop giving, start saying no to the things that don't matter, so you have more yeses to give, so that you can stop giving everyone else the best of you, giving the things and people that really matter to you the rest of you.
Awesome. Dr. Vibe.
Yeah, 3 quick things. One's a statement. No is a complete sentence. And then I have 2 questions. If a stranger looked at your calendar and bank statement for the last 90 days, what would they say you're putting first? And then my other question for everyone, what's one commitment you can drop or delegate in the next 30 days to make some more room for what you truly want to put first? I'm complete.
All right. Yeah, love it. Love it. I love it. And thank you both for being here. I'm going to be quick because I want to just go back to the statement and then we'll wrap it up. And the statement from this morning's men's circle: selfish ambition ask, how can this advance me? Godly ambition ask, how can this advance the kingdom of God? And the kingdom of God includes us all. So may we advance the kingdom by being the best version of ourselves for everyone else too. Thank you for tuning in. Head over to sidmcnary.com. Love to connect. See you soon. Peace.
I've been at peace for so long. It seems like I've been sitting all alone. Would you know when the crew is coming through? They're the ones that will make anew. Gotta go, gotta flow, gotta choose the truth. We the ones that will raise the roof. Let's roll up and throw down. Let's go and feel the sound. Good vibes, one tribe. Can you feel me now? Be you, be me, be free. Go and take it till we bounce the beat. Take it to the streets, make a move the feet. I can slow it down, look in my eyes now. Just like you two want it fast. Spread them wings and make it last. God was the one to erase the past. Time to bring it forward to see the forecast. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Lift your dreams and fill the glass. Did you hear it? Did you hear it? Lift your dreams and fill the glass. That was God's broadcast. That was God's broadcast. Time to embrace the peace. Time to embrace the peace. Time to embrace the peace.